there everyone, in this video I'm showing you just quickly how to read a knitting pattern. It's in this, I can't go through everything with you in this little video simply because I have to show you how to knit this. So in another video, scroll down from here into the information box, you'll find a link to where we're actually making this jersey, and I'm making it like this. I'm not using the same yarn that they are, and I'm not using the little pattern combination that they are. I'm just using it straight like this in this yarn. So yeah, watch that. But in this lesson I'm going to show you how to actually read a knitting pattern. So yeah, you can start. Alright, so I want to go ahead and show you how to read a knitting pattern. There are a few things that you need to know, and it's going to help you in the long run. So for example, what you do is you're going to take your patterns, and this is a Red Heart Babies color block hoodie. Now I don't have a photocopy of the color. I don't have color on my printer. But anyway, this is just showing you how to read the pattern, and then we're going to make this in a separate video. We'll actually make this for a 2-year-old. This is for a girl or for a boy. But I thought I'd go through the pattern with you on this video, and then on another one I'll show you how to make this. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at the side. Let me just zoom you. Look at the instructions. So this tells you which yarn you should be using, because it's obviously by Red Heart. This over here is going to tell you whether this is an easy or hard pattern, and this is easy. So that's going to be great for a beginner. They tell you what you need. You're going to need Red Heart Baby TLC, 1 ball each of lime, of clear blue, white and lilac. Now when I actually make this, I'm just going to use one color, but this is for this specific pattern. But you could use any color as long as you're getting the specific type of yarn that they tell you. Now they're telling you exactly what yarn, and they're going to be telling you exactly what needles to use. And the reason why they tell you that is because they want you to get the correct size jersey, sweater. If you go and use different yarn and different needles, you're going to come up with a different size. And they just want you to have it exactly the size. They give you the measurements of how big this jacket actually is. I'm just trying to see where they tell you that. They do tell, yeah, you go. They tell you over here the chest size, and this over here is the sizes that you're going to be making. You can have this one. All right, so this is where they tell you the size. Directions are for size 3 months. Your 3-month-old size will be over here. The next one is 6 months, will be this one here. This is for 9 months, 12 months, 18 and 24 months. Okay, so that's very important. Whichever one you are doing, you have to remember that. Say I'm doing, well, I will be doing mine. I'm going to be doing the 24 months, so that's this one at the end. But whichever one, all of your directions are going to be for that, in that specific spot. So example, the chest is going to measure 25 inches. The length is going to be 13 inches because of this one. If I was working with that one, that would be my size. The 19.5 chest, the length is 8 inches. Okay, so that's how you know which one. And as long as you follow their needle and their yarn size, and I'll show you now about the gauge, you will end up with the same measurements as what they have. Give or take a little bit because of your tension in knitting. Okay, so that's why you use the same needles. And they are telling us to use a 4mm, which is a US 6, and a 3.75mm, which is a US 5. Okay, so you've got that, and then you've got your yarn. So this is the US, this is the smaller one, the US 5, and this is the US 6. And these are the needles that we're going to be using when we make this jacket. Anyway, yeah, now to do your gauge, this is also important. They tell you over here, your gauge is 22 stitches. When you put 22 stitches on, you'll get 4 inches. Okay, so when you put 22 stitches on and you knit, you have to knit a little square, and that gives you the gauge of the jacket. So in other words, the gauge, you're going to cast on 22 stitches and you're going to knit 28 rows. When you've done that, you should have 4 inches for your stitches, and the rows should measure 4 inches. So you should have a square of 4 inches by 4 inches. So you should have a square in that size. If yours is too big, then you obviously, something is not right. Your yarn or your needles aren't correct, because you should come up with, give or take, the same measurements. Okay, now some of us knit very tightly. Yours is going to be a tad smaller, but it shouldn't be a big significant difference. Okay, so if you're wanting to look on your yarn on the label, when you look on your yarn, you also have a look over here on the directions, and you can see they are saying that this yarn, they do tell you somewhere, is a 3. Yeah, over here they tell you that this is a 3 light. This is a 3 light as well. This is a different yarn, but I don't have this specific one, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this yarn. But it's also a 3 light, and that's the important thing. Now on this one, it actually tells you to get a 4 by 4 inch square, you would use a US size 6, which is what we're using. So this is going to be well suited for this project. And I don't mind if it's a little bit bigger or smaller, slightly bigger or smaller, as long as I've got the basic size, which is what I want. So that's what you want to check up, and then my needles are the same. Now, as I say, this is telling you the size yarn that you need, and they tell you what yarn you need to get, but that's all you need to know to start. So as long as you have that in your basic for your pattern, you are good to go. Then you're just going to follow the directions as they tell you. Now you will have a look on, usually you get what is called a schematic. This is your schematic over here. It shows you what we're doing. This is going to be what our back looks like, and they tell you in the different sizes. Okay, so here, all right, so this is your schematic, and this is what your back will look like with the measurements. They tell you here. This is what your sleeve is going to look like, and they give you the measurements of that as well, and you can just follow this and that. And then this is what your left front is going to look like. Oops, this is what your left front will look like, and you'll do a right front as well, but it's going to be obviously the other side. This will be on the other side, so you flip it over, and I will, when we make this garment, I will show you how that actually works. But then you can look at the abbreviations. Generally you need to know what your abbreviations mean here. Okay, obviously ABCs for your color, that's easy, but now for your knitting abbreviations. K is for knit, and generally whatever they're going to be using, they tell you over here what it is. So K means knit, knit 2 together, means when it looks like that, it means knit 2 stitches together. MM is millimeters, P is for purl, ST is stockinette stitch, ST with an S is stitches, TOG is together, and YO is yarn over. Most patterns will give you the abbreviations over here, so you can just have a look and see, and they will tell you what it actually is as this is done. So this one is very basic. They've given you what they mean, and this does have a hoodie on as well, which we will do. But now you just follow suit over here. Now sometimes it's a good idea to mark your size. So for example, I will be doing, when I get there, I'm going to be doing the biggest size for a 2-year-old. So you can actually circle all of those that are here, and that just helps you when you get to knit. You'll see, okay, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. I don't generally do it on my patterns, but it definitely does help. Yeah, so you just do that for all of them, and you'll know exactly which one is yours. Okay, so you can do that, and then you'll see you can do it all the way through on your pattern, whichever size you are doing. Okay, then we're going to start with our garment. This is now for the back. Now they say with smaller needles, that's pretty easy. You go with your smaller needles go ahead and cast on 68 stitches, whichever size you're going on. You cast on 68 stitches. Now they haven't told you specifically which way to cast on, so it doesn't matter. Just get your stitches on whichever method of casting on you want to do. Then they're saying working garter stitch. Now garter stitch is just plain knit, 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 and then on the purl side is knit, knit, knit. All you do is knit. Alright, so now as I say, you cast on the stitches that they tell you to, 68, working garter stitch for 8 rows, increasing 2 stitches on the last row. It's going to be better now that we've gone through all the major parts for me to do this with you in the video where we actually knit this. It'll just be easier for you to understand exactly what they're saying. But all that you would do is to follow exactly what they're saying. So we do the garter stitch and you increase 2 stitches on the last row. And then you're going to change to larger needles and do stockinette stitch, which is knit 1 row, purl 1 row, and you work until your piece measures 13 inches and end with the wrong side row and bind off. Then you start with your left front and you just follow exactly what they say. Then you're going to get to this part, which is shaping your neck, bind off 8 stitches at the beginning, and then you're going to do your right front, the buttonhole. You only need 1 on this, so that's fairly easy. Shaping your neck, your sleeves, and then you finish off sewing your shoulder seams, and then you do your hoodie. So that's basically it. Yeah, I'm going to do this separately because it's a bit long-winded just getting this beginning part correct. But once you are ready, once you've just gone through this video, get the correct yarn and needles, or you can follow me. As I say, I'm just making sure that my yarn is a 3 light and I've got the correct needles. You can do a gauge and be sure that yours is more or less the same size by putting on the gauge that they have 22 stitches and knit 28 rows, and you should get 4 inches by 4 inches in your stockinette stitch. So that must be 1 row knit, 1 row purl. And they say do that using your larger needles. So you want to use the larger size, the thicker one, because that's what you're doing the body of the garment in. So yeah, that's it. So go ahead, get your correct things, and in the next video I'm going to show you how to make this jersey. Alright, so I will see you in my next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye.